And welcome back. Second match of the final day of Alliance Tournament 8. We have CVA versus Agony Empire. And CVA on the left-hand side of your screen, highlighted in red on your overview, fielding a Proteus, 2 Brutix, 3 Hurricanes, a Guardian, 2 Daredevils, and a Tyrannus. And
for Agony Empire, we have a Macarial, 3 Tengus, a Scimitar, 3 Worms, 2 Stilettos.
Yeah, and this is 2 interesting loadouts. Brutix, not one of the most popular ships I've seen in the tournament so far. Unsure as to what they're doing there, in all honesty. 3 Tengus again. What do you make of that, Darius?
People like flying Tengus in the tournament for some reason.
Well, yeah, I guess that's one way to put it. No, I'm tired of all these triple Tengu setups. I don't like them.
They're a flavor of the month thing for whatever reason.
Whoever's building Tengus on Tranquility is going to be very rich because the price is going to shoot up after the tournament purely because of the fact that so many people have fielded them and so many people who know very little about PvP will want one and think they're awesome.
Well, they are awesome. I had one for 10 minutes once.
What happened to it?
It got blown up.
So it was awesome, but not awesome enough not to be blown up.
Yeah, I had this really awesome setup that I was going to use to do exploration, and I got probed out, and I was like, I had this move where I was just going to activate the gate when they came through, so I got on the gate for the next level of the complex, and I was like, yes, and then they jumped through, and they tackled me, and I was like, see ya, suckers, and I forgot to get the key.
Tournament experts, best experts. Well, yes, the match is underway. We have a green light from CCP Claw and local, and immediately not much DPS in the field other than one of the Brutixes taking fire for CVA. Drones on the field, not that many in fact, not that many at all. A few more popping out there. We've got light armor maintenance bots out from CVA, and we have Warrior 2s out from Agony Empire.
Yes, and it looks like Agony Empire has actually split their DPS between the Tyrannus and the Brutix. There was actually a lot of drones out.
Yeah,
I think they're focusing. I think that what they might be doing is focusing the drones on the Tyrannus and the turrets on the Brutix, if I'm correct.
Yep, it definitely looks as if that's what they're doing. The Warrior 2s are out. A light flight of Warrior 2s. There's about 10 of those on the field chasing that Tyrannus down. And it looks as if they're focusing their main DPS on the Brutix.
What's CVA's Guardian doing, just out of curiosity?
I think he is probably asleep. He may, I'm going to guess that those Agony Worms are probably dampened.
Oh.
So I should imagine he might be having trouble locking. He did come out. He did come off quite long range. He sat like probably 60, 70 clicks away from his gang, so it's, yeah, he could be in serious trouble. He needs to pull range, he needs to be able to support his gang, so, I mean, he is running ECCM, but that's not going to help against damps. There is absolutely no remote support coming from that Guardian from CVA. He's just sat there and he's just trying to get in range of the gang, basically.
Pro tip, tournament people, if you're going to be the logistics ship for your team and guide in charge of keeping them alive, make sure you're close enough to be of use.
Yes, definitely. I think he was actually close enough. He just got damped to hell, so he hasn't really been able to do anything. He does actually...
He just woke up.
Yeah, he's just woke up. He's managed to get lock. And that Tyrannus pilot that was... Daredevil pilot, rather, that was running around crapping himself with next to no armor left, is now receiving armor.
Now he's crapping himself.
He's crapping himself again now because he's about to die.
Oh, I've soiled my suit.
Oh, no. Yes,
they've switched targets to the other Daredevil, and I'm guessing the Guardian either isn't changing targets quickly enough or has again been damped and is not close enough to hit his buddy.
Yeah, we have lost one of the Tengus from the Agony Empire team along with a bulk of their frigate DPS and their a lot of their dampening capability from those worms. And it's been pointed out in the Alliance Tournament public that we didn't notice the Tengu die. We did notice the Tengu die. We just don't care because it's a horrible ship.
That last Daredevil is hanging on. What did he do? Did he move out of... Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's pulled a hell of a lot of range and he's just sat as far away from the engagement as you possibly can.
Looks like CVA is focusing on the Macarial for Agony Empire. That Guardian pilot has now become more of a factor on the CVA side. I know we've seen some more repping from him, which is his job.
Yeah, definitely his job. Wow, just...
I understand you're a Guardian pilot.
I am, yes. Funny, where did you hear that? Well, yeah, we've got a Hurricane there for CVA as well in half armor. It looks as if Agony is still splitting their DPS, trying to keep that Guardian pilot a little bit confused. not that Agony really have a great deal of DPS left now.
No, and they're not, as you can see, doing well. Yeah, they're not really doing a whole lot to what's sitting there right now. They have a Hurricane in half armor, not getting repped. They have a Daredevil with a sliver of armor left. I think I see a slice of structure damage as well.
Yeah, we do indeed. One Daredevil left there. The Guardian's trying to keep him alive, but I think purely because of the lack of a hit point buffer, it makes the job for Logistics Pilot very difficult to keep frigates alive. Remaining Worm there for Agony Empire being primaried by CBA, and I'm actually really surprised. I thought the one team would walk this, either one. I thought it would just be one of those teams where they're the underdogs. They're going to bring like fairly, well, not mediocre, but less successful setups than what some of the really big players in the tournament do. And one of them would just fall flat on their faces. But it's been a pretty even match so far.
A slap fight.
Yeah.
I might say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. But we can see that the Proteus from CBA are pretty much untouched. It's been just almost totally unchallenged on the field for the entire duration of the fight. It looks, actually, I'm going to try and get a look at that thing and see how it's fitted. It looks as if it's the horrible DPS of Death Proteus, which is basically a really heavy effective hit point tank, and a hell of a lot of neutron blasters, which really, really hurts. It's like, it's basically, again, like we've said before, it's a Demos that works.
Yes, and as you can see, Agony Empire did not stop believing. And that Hurricane is finally going down. I don't know whether they managed to interfere with the Guardian enough, or he was just unable to basically out-rep their attack.
Yeah, and it's just it's really strange. I mean, like I said, I thought the one team or the other would walk this. That Proteus now actually in range and firing, looking to drop that Tengu. It's definitely a Blaster Proteus. I believe it's Neutron. And we're just going to see the sheer amount of DPS that thing will put out now.
And while he's getting ready to put out his sheer amount of DPS, it looks like they're switching again between the two Hurricanes. This is still something that's somewhat up in the air, but I think that CVA, with their Guardian still present, is probably going to pull this one out.
Yeah, I think that two Stilettos on the field and two Tengus for Agony Empire, it's just not enough DPS. I don't think they'd even have the time, probably, to get rid of that Proteus and the Guardian, even if they could get the two Hurricanes off the field, because solid pair of ships.
Look at that Tengu just get crushed.
Yeah, that's power of blasters.
You're a role player, Varone. As a role player, when you win a match like this, do you celebrate as your character?
I have no idea, because I've never fought in an Alliance tournament before.
Oh.
I know that Electus Matari, who were fighting, they treat the whole thing in character. So
could you pretend you succeeded at something else? How would you celebrate that?
I would probably have a beer.
Okay.
Which would be nice.
In game?
Both. Yeah. Agony Empire, really surprisingly, going out. I think by wearing the Agony Empire beanie, I've probably like jinxed them out of the tournament or something horrible. But yeah, it's been
it's not your fault.
Really strange match.
It's not your fault, bro.
But it's nice to see. It's actually nice to see CVA fielding another non-Amar setup. I've been really surprised that they haven't come out with an all-Amar loadout, being Amar role players. But I guess it's just a case of they're going to fit what's best for the tournament rather than sticking to any sort of role-playing motives, I should imagine.
Yeah, in this particular match, I do think it is something that could have gone either way. So, as with any match that could go either way, when you don't have a setup that's just completely dominant, it's if you lose, it's your fault.
Yeah, and it does of course mean that I believe Road Capel, Hydra Reloaded will face off against CVA in the quarterfinals, in fact. So that's going to be a really, really bad challenge for CVA. They're not going to make it through that at all.
Well, I agree.
Yeah, it's. I mean, Hydra have been absolutely rock solid. CVA have been, well, for the size of the alliance they've been fair to mediocre. I've expected a lot more from them. They've done good to get this far, but I think that, I don't know, I think next round they're going to get knocked out by Hydra, in all honesty.
I think that's a pretty safe bet. If I was a betting man, and I'm not because it's caused me problems, I would be betting on Hydra Reloaded. Yeah,
well, I mean, I'm really rooting for a Hydra Reloaded and Pandemic Legion final, to be honest.
I used to have a really nice house.
You used to have a really nice house. Then you went to Vegas, did you?
Yes. and then I raced cars I drifted for pink slips.
Nice. You can see there the Guardian pilot actually for CVA is starting to take damage. Half armor now, but it just doesn't look as if Agony Empire's got enough DPS left on the field now.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the we're seeing kind of random shots at certain times, and then nothing else really going on for a while. So
yeah, there's not really a great deal going on at present. There's not really a lot to commentate about because it looks as if the DPS has been pretty much shut off on both sides.
What we can say is that there are spaceships and they are flying in space.
Yeah, definitely, and there are also stars, which is nice. But
if they were pro, they could make a formation.
Yeah, they could. It was like a couple of tournaments ago, in fact. Against All Authorities did that with 3 rocks. They had a cap transfer going on, and they had the Against All Authorities logo.
Oh, that's excellent. I seem to have missed that somehow.
Yeah, that was pro. It was awesome. And then when they did it, everyone was like, "Yeah, that's pretty cocky." And then one of the pilots crashed a desktop, and they lost the match.
Oh.
Which was hilarious.
What I would do is probably just change my logo for a day, so it's just 3 rooks following each other. And then I'd be like, check this out, dude.
Yeah, how pro we can make our alliance logo.
Yeah, it seems like it was a lot of work on their part.
Yeah. It's, yeah, I mean, the Tengu is now warp scrambled. They've managed to get the Proteus, Garrick of CVA, has managed to get a tackle on it. It's now webbed as well, so it's going nowhere, and it's pretty much all over for Agony Empire. They're just going to have to do the Benny Hill thing of chasing those 2 stilettos around the arena for a while.
I like how you said going nowhere. Because you could be like, Tengu, where you going? Nowhere!
Well, he's not going anywhere very fast because he's webbed.
Yeah, well, I can see that.
Yeah, see? Little webber.
That doesn't mean he's going nowhere. He's just going very slowly.
Yeah, he's going nowhere in a hurry. But yeah, it's Proteus, 2 Hurricanes, and a Guardian left on the field for CVA. Not a convincing win, but a win nonetheless, and it's going to send them through. Points value, of course, not really meaning that much now. It's just fighting for the knockout. So we're finding that people are bringing a lot more DPS-centric setups, and I think that's why Agony has lost out here, because they had the main bulk of their DPS was 1 battleship hull, and then they had all of these passive heavy tank Tengus. So I think that's the main reason that they've lost out, and that's it.
What you can also see is what they had, was it Agony yesterday who had the really boring stare at each other for an hour setup where they were
I believe it was,
transferring and just formed a little turtle. Yeah, that's the other kind of setups you see, and it's basically just... I like to see high DPS setups because they're fun and interesting.
It goes one way. People either think, I want to survive. Well, you obviously always want to survive longer than the other team. That's the objective. But it's like, I want to make sure that I'm going to have a massive tank so they can't get me off the field. Or it's just, I want to just go out and just smash their heads in. Yeah. And you'll bring something like the loadout that CVA brought, where they've got a really high DPS Proteus, they've got a pack of Hurricanes with it, and they can just absolutely smash anything they come across.
Which is a lot more interesting than playing Trent Dilfer and just trying not to lose the game.
Yeah, I mean, it's really good to see. I think in later matches, when we get into like the quarters and the semis, we're going to see a lot more really hard-hitting setups. And I'm going to be really interested to see what PL bring after their Legion stunt yesterday, because although they've been like... They've been a bit of a clown in this tournament in a way, the way they've behaved on the forums and whatnot. They brought a really solid setup yesterday, and they did awesomely. I mean, I love the 3 Legion setup.
It's going to be all assault frigates. And they're going to show us the utility. They're going to show us how they work.
Nice. This will be awesome. Stiletto down for Agony Empire. 1 remaining stiletto on the field, and it's just a matter of pinning this guy down now, I think.
Did you say stiletto?
Yes.
Okay. I thought I heard something else.
Yes, it was stiletto, not stiletto.
Well, I did find out that Tyrannus is a god, and you shouldn't pluralize their names. But I figure if you're a god, you can have as many of you as you want.
Yeah.
So it's Tyrannes.
Tyrannes. Yeah. Okay, it's Tyrannes. We'll remember that for later matches.
I'd be pretty mad if I was a god and some person was like, no, you can't have a plural of you.
But yeah, I'm actually getting reports that Tyrus of CVA in the Hurricane, 2nd Hurricane down that we can see, he's actually burnt his guns out. So he's not providing any DPS at all. Although now CVA have taken the match. Agony is off the field and unfortunately out of the tournament. So we can hand back to Soundwave.